Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Six for Six with your host, Trevor Williams. Glad to present to you the next best sporting events that you can watch this week. I am proud to present some great content for you all on this fine evening. But before we get started, we're going to take some remembrance to remember, late Kobe Bryant. Almost 2 years ago to this day, he had a horrific helicopter accident, and he lost his life along with his daughter and many other people who are aboard that flight. So we'll take a moment of silence to remember those who were lost on this tragic day. Thank you. So now let's get back into our world of sports. I'll try to keep this episode very short in honor of Kobe Bryant's death happened 2 years ago. So tonight's program, we're going to make it a little bit special. We're going to end this program with 24 minutes into this program to give respect to Kobe Bryant and all those who lost their lives 2 years ago on this very tragic day. But let's get into Six for Six. Let's get all this excitement for all the good sporting events coming up. We got NFL championship games coming up, as well as some college basketball to throw that into the loop. So can't wait to present to you some great sporting events coming up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Going to be fantastic. But before we get things going, I got some comments rolling in. Isaiah is tuning in, and Corey saying that it's very sad. And Isaiah is tuning in from the airport, and Corey Goodrich says, "Go Chiefs." But we got some good stuff. We got some new, bells and whistles here on StreamYard. So we're going to put some background music. So let me know if you can hear the background music. We're testing this out and just seeing what we could do for other MI6 shows. So to further ado, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. So as you can hear, we got some nice background music playing, if you can hear it. All right, let's get started with our previous Freaks record. We went 5-1, ladies and gentlemen, in our picks. Glad that we were able to, get on that win column above 500, so we cracked the ceiling in the third episode. And the game that we ended up losing on was Indiana versus Purdue. Purdue fell short, and that's why I had that one loss, ladies and gentlemen. That one loss, we're going to try to turn that around and make that a 0, so we can go 6 for 6 on this week's pick'em. So that's what we're going to go with an overall record of 11-7 this season, season 2 of 6 for 6. So I can't wait for us to get a better record and continue to grow and keeping that 7 there on as we have more shows to come. Can't wait to see that happen. But to start us off in the 6th spot, we got number 7 Michigan versus number 22 Ohio State women's college basketball, Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific on the Big Ten Network. Great showdown coming up for this on Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. ESPN couldn't provide me the percentage of who's going to win, but I got some stats to break down so we can look at this. Michigan is on a 5-game win streak. The Ohio State Buckeyes are on a 5-game win streak. Michigan is 17-2 with a conference record of 8-1. Ohio State's women's basketball team is 15-3 with a 7-2 conference record, and they are at home, ladies and gentlemen. They're looking to tie this conference game, ladies and gentlemen, bring it back in the series and get them back in the hunt to win the Big Ten, and the Big Ten for women's college basketball. So I'm going to go with the upset where Ohio State wins at home over number 7 Michigan, because I think the Lady Buckeyes are going to take it to them and going to be able to bring out this job that's going to be critical of trying to get better seeding in their division. So I'm going to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes to win it in this one, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go into our 5th game, I got some comments rolling through. And he says, congratulations on going, with my record of last week. Glad that you enjoyed it. Now, with the number 5 spot, we got more Ohio State basketball, but this time with the men going up against Purdue on the road. Not going to be an easy task. I know Purdue's looking for that vengeful comeback. They were able to win last night, 3 days ago against Northwestern, get back on track. Ohio State's on a 2-game winning streak, and Purdue is on that 1-game winning streak. But if you got to break down the statistics with this, Purdue will outscore Ohio State. Purdue scores almost 85 points per game compared to the Ohio State 75 points per game. But from the field, Purdue is leading 50% to Ohio State's 48%. But as you can see, on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you have rebounds. Purdue gets more on that. But for blocks, Ohio State gets more blocks. So this may be a defensive battle, keeping this game close. But I think Purdue is going to be able to pull this game out, and they're at home. And I don't think Purdue is going to lose a second time. You know, they're going to have that home stand. So I don't think they're going to lose this one and this one. So I'm going to have to pick against my Ohio State Buckeyes in this one. So the ranked Ohio State Buckeyes men's number 16th in the nation versus number 6 Purdue in men's college basketball on Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on CBS. So once you finish that, you can tune into the divisional, championship game, not divisional, the championship games in the NFL for that Sunday. So definitely great stuff to build up your Sunday. Next up, we got to go back to our women's hoops. We got Indiana, number 6 in the nation, versus number 7 Michigan on Monday night. Women's college basketball, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on ESPN2. Obviously, these rankings are subject to change since it's later in the week, next week. So obviously, Indiana and Michigan's ranking will change accordingly, depending. Well, let's give you some more of those stats. Both teams are on, like I said, Michigan earlier, 5-game winning streak. Indiana is on a 5-game winning streak. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going. But I'm going to pick against Michigan. Again, I'm going to go with Indiana and taking care of this on the road in Ann Arbor, making sure it's a flawless victory so they can go undefeated in their conference, Indiana in the Big Ten, and make Michigan have another loss if they lose to Ohio State on Thursday night. So definitely a key game to tune in on Monday night when we have not much football going on before the Pro Bowl and all that stuff. So definitely a key game to tune into. Obviously, we got other sporting events coming up next week because we got the Olympics tuning in and all that stuff. So we'll get some Olympic game sprinkled throughout the month of February and on that stuff going forward, ladies and gentlemen. With that, before we go on, we'll go on to our top 3. We'll go on to our number 3 slot, ladies and gentlemen. We got Kentucky, number 12 in the nation, versus Kansas, number 5 in the nation, against, college basketball, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. Great matchup. 2 huge, I would say, basketball programs. Games that you can't miss. You got to tune into this game. Teams you would see in the, grade 8 or the Elite 8 and the Final Four. These are the type of teams you get to see in the ranked early preseason matchups. But I'm going to have to go with Kansas because they're undefeated at home and they're home again. They're going to keep that streak alive. There's 62% chance to win this game. Kentucky is 16 for 14. But ladies and gentlemen, Kentucky will outscore Kansas 82-81. But you look from the field, Kansas falls short by literally 0.4% from the field compared to Kentucky. Assists, Kentucky has more assists, but all across the board, it looks like this Kentucky team is more physically in the stats category better than Kansas, but Kansas is winning on a 5-game win streak. They're able to come off of OT. Both teams are coming off of OT wins, so it's a lot of momentum going on in this. So it's definitely going to be a key game to watch as we go through this week. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we got Kansas going. I'm going to be picking Kansas to win. I have a feeling we're going to get that 6 for 6 in this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get that perfect undefeated streak going. We're going to continue to go through and all that stuff. But we got a comment rolling through in. And how the weather is for me, as Corey Goodrich asked. He's saying, my weather, well, in Columbus, Ohio right now, ladies and gentlemen, this day was very, very cold. I would say the weather was 4 degrees, so I stayed inside, stayed warm, had a blanket around me as I was doing the work day. So I was staying warm as my best of my ability. But let's do a quick recap of all of our sporting events that we have so far today. So with this, the number 7 Michigan Wolverines versus number 22 Ohio State Buckeyes in college women basketball, Thursday night, January 27th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on the Big Ten Network. I'm going to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes to win this game and upset Michigan in this one. In the next one, we got the Ohio State men's basketball team against Purdue's men's basketball team on Sunday, at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on CBS. Great way to build up your NFL Sunday football coming up, ladies and gentlemen. On top of that, we'll go into our fourth game. We got Indiana, who's number 6 in the nation for women's, and number 7 Michigan for the women's. Both teams are trying to improve their win streaks, but as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's women's basketball. We gotta give our women some love. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on ESPN2. Make sure you tune in to that Monday night. After all the great games that happen on Sunday, all the sporting events happening on Sunday, I think it's a great game to close out the month with, and that's why we put in the 4th spot on here for the 6 for 6. Now we got the number 3 slot, Kentucky number 12 in the nation versus Kansas number 5 in the nation. Men's college basketball Saturday, January 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. Great 2 basketball schools going at it. Definitely going to be a fun game to watch as it develops. But Kansas is undefeated at home, and that's why I'm going to pick them so they can continue that undefeated streak at home, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we're going to our NFL games. Before we break down my 2, how I've ranked them, let's go to a comment before we go in. Yeah, and Corey says about the weather comment that he said earlier. The weather in Minnesota is fairly cold. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go on to the next one. We got the Bengals Chiefs NFL championship game, ladies and gentlemen. 3 p.m. Eastern, noon p.m. Pacific time on CBS. I know we want Joe Burrow to find a way to win this game, but it's against Patrick Mahomes. And the man scored with 13 seconds left in the game to give his team a chance to win. I don't think it's going to be an easy task in this one, but I'm still going to have to go with, Kansas City. They'll find a way to win when the chips are stacked up against them. I don't think Joe Burrow is going to have an easy task in this one, but that line for Cincinnati needs to step it up, ladies and gentlemen. If they don't step it up, Joe Burrow is not going to get to the Super Bowl. I would love to see Cincinnati in the Super Bowl and all that stuff because I can take the trip to Cincinnati and just enjoy a couple watch parties and just experience that what a city goes through to just see a Super Bowl performance. So I'm rooting for Cincinnati at the same time to get there and experience the Super Bowl and all that stuff and watch Cincinnati go crazy if they're able to win. So definitely something I want to tune in and experience. I will have to wait and see what that brings, but I have the feeling the Chiefs are going to find a way to win it. But if we're looking at the stats, literally Cincinnati is just all across the board a better team. Puts up more points than Cincinnati, but points per allowed, the Cincinnati's defense can keep them in check, but it's Patrick Mahomes, ladies and gentlemen. The guy will produce points when there's literally next to nothing time left on the clock. So that's what I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Cincinnati Bengals against the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday, January 30th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific time on CBS. Definitely going to be a great game to watch, and hoping Joe Burrow can pull it out. But I think at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes will find a way to win this game when the odds are up against him. With that, ladies and gentlemen, and all that, we're going to go into the number 1 pick. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I think you all know what the number 1 pick is in the NFL world. The third matchup between the 2 teams. And I don't think we need any more introduction into that. We got the 49ers Rams round 3. Exciting January 30th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific on Fox. Can Matthew Stafford get to the promised land in the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen? Can he do it? Can he get the Rams to the promised land? They were there not too long ago. They fell short with Goff and fell short against the Patriots. But now they have a different quarterback in Matthew Stafford. But Jimmy G is looking to get back to the promised land and maybe face Patrick Mahomes yet again and redeem himself and bring home a ring. Another two teams are looking to get their revenge in the Super Bowl in the promised land. But ladies and gentlemen, I think it's going to be Matthew Stafford getting to the promised land and going up against all the odds and finding a way to win it. And Cooper Kupp is probably going to have one phenomenal game to get this team into the postseason. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is first in NFL history where the team in the championship game is hosting the championship game and hosting the Super Bowl. So definitely going to be history in the making if the Rams are able to do it. So definitely going to be a key game to tune in to make sure that unfolds out accordingly, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely going to go with that. But for my pick, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Rams pulling this one out. Definitely going to be a fun matchup to watch. And Kirsty Wilson, for her last two picks, she's going rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals, and she's picking the Rams to win. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do a quick recap so we can get to that 24-minute mark to remind us for those who lost their lives in the helicopter accident with Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and all those who were on that horrific helicopter accident 2 years ago on this day. But we're going to get to that 24-minute mark, and we're going to conclude tonight's program on that note. With that, we got a couple comments in, but with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do a nice, brisk recap of tonight's program. So we got number 7, Michigan Wolverines versus number 22, Ohio State Buckeyes in college women basketball on Thursday, January 27th on 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific on the Big Ten Network. Definitely going to be great games tuning in. With that, I'm going to go with the Lady Buckeyes taking care of business, beating Michigan at home. Going to be a great matchup to watch on Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen, on the Big Ten Network. So if you have it, make sure you tune in. And with that, we have more Ohio State action, ladies and gentlemen, with the men going at it in college hoops. Ohio State, number 16 in the nation versus number 6 Purdue. I'm going to have to pick Purdue in this one. They're at home, and they don't want, they had a tough game against Indiana. They were able to bounce back against Northwestern. Ohio State is on a 2-game winning streak, but I think Purdue is going to try to get back on track and continue to improve in the conference and making their state claim as they try to get ready for March Madness when we're almost a month away, ladies and gentlemen. So this is going to be some key momentum building for that, and that's very important once we get to March Madness. That momentum is going to be critical in the month of February. Next up, we got number 6 Indiana, number 7 Michigan in women's college basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Some fantastic stuff going on, ladies and gentlemen. Can't believe we got some good stuff in this on Monday night. We got to see how this develops, but I'm going to go with Indiana securing this dub on this one, ladies and gentlemen. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on ESPN2. If you have any comments of games you want me to give a shout out to in this week, throw them in the comment section. I'll give a quick read to them as well, ladies and gentlemen. With that, we got the number 3 spot in tonight's program. We got Kentucky, number 12, versus Kansas, number 5 in the nation, with some fantastic college hoops, ladies and gentlemen, for the men on Saturday, January 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. Definitely a great show to watch. Great college action, great men's action as well. So if you're out and about, getting dinner on the East Coast or preparing for that late lunch or that early, dinner on the West Coast, definitely tune in for that. With that, and the number 2 slot, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Chiefs. Chiefs are hosting this game, but I think we got to know that Patrick Mahomes will find a way to win this game, as we saw last night, on Sunday in the divisional round, in that crazy finish coming down to the wire in that game. Though, it's a shame that the Buffalo Bills fell short in that game, and we all wish that the overtime rules would change in the NFL, allowing the other team a chance to at least get the ball back and trying to score. And if they don't get that, in the 4 downs territories, then that's a game. But until then, the NFL overtime rules will still be the same. One team will miss out on the opportunity. So definitely, we have to figure out what to do on that, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to the final game. We got the Rams and the Niners. Like I said, NFL history. Rams are the first team ever in NFL history to host the championship game and the Super Bowl. I know the pressure is against them. They're looking for the win. I think they can do it. I think they can get to the promised land, get to the Super Bowl. And yes, I know at the beginning of my podcast career, I did say Matthew Stafford was an average quarterback. Didn't get to his team to the playoffs because, the Lions organization couldn't really provide much with help, on the defensive side of the ball and all that stuff. But now he has the team to do it. I said earlier, when he first joined, I gave him 3 years. Can he get to the Super Bowl in 3 years? I understand team chemistry and all that stuff, getting there, but he's about to do it in 1 year. The question is, can he win it with this team? He has, very few excuses, but at year 3, that's like the excuses are done. He has nothing else, left to show. But this is the year. Can he do it? Can he get that ring? And I can retract that statement saying he is an average quarterback. That's how I would say. With that, ladies and gentlemen. With that, any more comments you should going in? Kirsten Wilson has a comment tuning in. It's going to be a fun sporting weekend and all that stuff. Like she said, definitely going to be a great sporting event and all that stuff coming through. I know this past week we had the X Games, so if you were able to catch some of those snowboarding events, a great way to build up for the Olympics coming through. With the time that we have left, I know I did all the sporting events that I have on tonight's program, but we'll preview a little bit of stuff next week. We have the Winter Olympics coming up, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll give you a couple of events that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the bobsledding because the Jamaican bobsled team is back, ladies and gentlemen, in the Winter Olympics. So make sure you tune in and see what the Jamaican bobsled team can do in this year's Winter Olympics. I know the U.S. women's hockey team is getting ready to defend their crown in the Olympics. I know Canada is looking for revenge in that. So you will see that here on 6 for 6 when that match is scheduled. I know that's going to be at least in the top 3 or even the number 1 game of that week, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely going to be some fun matchups tuning into that, ladies and gentlemen. I know you have other teams like in the men's, you have the Canadians, the Russians, the Germans, and all that stuff, even the Nordic countries that do well. I know I have some of my favorite other winter sporting events like curling, skiing, snowboarding. I know other hockey, like hockeys and all that stuff, other, sledding events like the luge, and for other skiing events like the high jump. A lot of good stuff in the Winter Olympics, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's going to be great stuff and all that stuff, but I can't wait to see what the Winter Olympics are holding up for. And like Kirsten Wilson said, she's excited for the Olympic skiing events. A lot of good content going to be coming out with that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are on our final minute stretch as we conclude tonight's program. So thank you all for tuning into this program. Great and fantastic to be able to witness some great sporting events with you all tonight. I know you had a great time tuning into this program. A lot of people tune in, and thank you all for tuning in with that. I can't do this program without you guys. Thank you for supporting this program. I know we have No BS scheduled up for tomorrow, so a lot of good stuff coming through. Can't wait to see what we come up with and all that fun stuff. And with that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will conclude tonight's program. Thank you all for watching. So long, take care, and enjoy the rest of your evening. So long from here, from the MI6 Sports Network. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.